Hey everybody, this is your girl Lee. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to make this video because in today's episode I will be covering my second trip to DR. Wow. My second trip in a 4-month span was completely different from the first one. So I wanted to make this video just because I wanted to talk about my first experience as a solo traveler and what I noticed and things that I think a lot of people will benefit from and need to take particular, time to kind of like analyze and things like that. But before I get started, of course, I gotta go to our Andrea Rose LLC update. So our website is still open. The entire website is 30% off. No code necessary. Free shipping for orders over 30. I'm thinking about doing a cute little sale maybe sometime this week, just because, it's been 30% off for a little bit now. So I might do something different. But again, before I go any further, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment this channel. I will be updating this channel as the weeks go by with different content. And also, I will be making a second video. So you want to look out for that one as well. This one will upload first. But you want to make sure you look out for the second one. The second one is going to showcase my experiences with Spirit Airlines and Frontier Airlines. I have to talk about it because it was different than my experience with American Airlines. So I will be talking about that in a separate video. However, for this video, we're going to talk about my visit to the Dominican Republic. So as you guys know, I went back in April for my birthday, which was amazing. Like, it was just amazing. I didn't even want to come back. It was just like it was perfect. Everything was perfect. But this time I need to get away because I was like going through like a really tough time, and it's like, when you go through such a tough time in your life and you just kind of need like that trip, this ended up being that trip, and I took it by myself. So I was a little nervous at first, but because of the normality of me being a female and then traveling by myself, I was just like, I'm a little scared. So I took the chance and I left last Saturday. So let me talk about the trip there. So I actually took my car to the Philadelphia airport. If you guys are not aware, I am located in New Jersey. So the Philadelphia airport was the closest one for me. So I went there and I parked my car in the parking garage, which you can actually leave for, several days if you're traveling, or if you need to leave it for a few days or whatever. So I left my car there. It was very different, but I felt comfortable leaving it there. So navigating through the airport was like real fun. Like, it was like, I don't know, it was like a video game or something. Like each side had like the signs for different like airplanes you were taking. So for this first flight, I was taking the Spirit Airline. So you had to look on the side to see what airline you're taking, and that's the parking garage you would actually park in. So I went ahead and I parked my car and I took the elevator to check in. So I go to check in. I go to check in, and the first thing is, first of all, my big luggage was like broken. So the bottom wheel was broken. So I literally was dragging a huge 3-legged luggage to this trip, along with a carry-on in my purse in the book. So, it was real interesting. At first, I went into the line to go through to the TSA. And then the lady stopped me and she said, well, why don't you go back downstairs real quick and go check your bags in? So I go down the step, this big old 3-legged luggage down the steps. And at first I was like, okay, like the process was easy. Like they had their self-check kiosk, check-in kiosk or whatever, and they weigh like your bag. So of course, like I mentioned on my Instagram video, I bought a wine bottle because this particular wine they did not have when I went there. So I'm glad I brought it. I brought a wine bottle and it added like massive weight to my bag. I literally had nothing in my bag except for like clothes and like light sandals and then like a towel and stuff like this. So light things were in there. And then of course lotions added some pounds, but it was the wine bottle that really did it. So she tells me that, you know, it just surpassed it by like 8 pounds. And I was like, and she said, "Do you want to remove 8 pounds?" I said, "Girl, no, I'm not. I can't remove it. I have a wine bottle in there. That's the 8 pounds that you're talking about. So I can't take that out." So I get to the check-in where they actually like take your bag over the counter, and then they tag it, and then they go ahead and put it for your flight. The flight customer service person was so ghetto. I could not even understand why she had to be so ghetto. Like, girl, I'm just trying to check my stuff in. Like, you could be a lot nicer. If you don't like your job, go get another one. But the Spirit flight attendant, well, not the flight attendant, the Spirit customer service person, I don't even remember that girl's name, but she was just terrible. And if I had to do a survey, she'd get an extra 0. She was terrible and she was rude. So then when she finally gave me my tags and stuff for my check bag, I was trying to put the stuff back in my bag so that way it doesn't fall out of my purse. And she goes and she's like, "Next." I'm like, okay, I can see where this trip is going to go because I'm in a slapping somebody. This is terrible. So then I get up to the steps. I get through TSA. So I come up to the TSA agent. And my God. So the TSA agents, I understand like they have to have like a level of seriousness because they're checking your information and making sure like you're you and you're going to the right place and why or whatever. But the attitude on this agent, I'm like, first of all, I just rushed here to make sure I can get to my flight, make sure I can get to my destination on time. So I'm like, dragging my little carry-on, whatever. And I get up to the TSA agent and she just start, "Ma'am, nah, nah." And I'm just like, can you just give me a second? Like, I got stuff in my hand. Like, hold on, let me put my book down on this counter for a second. Let me get my stuff out real quick because I got stuff in my hand. Like, you give me a second. So they are really rushy. So any advice I would give to you guys, please have your stuff ready at the TSA counter because they can be some, for real. Like, it was just like so terrible. Like, I just wanted to go through that glass. You just don't understand. And I yelled back at her and I said, "You can wait a second and let me take my stuff out." So as I'm doing that, she's yelling next, and I'm like moving to the side, and I'm just like, okay, you know what? All right, bet. So I take all my stuff out, and I finally get through TSA, and I go sit for my flight. So mind you, Spirit was having issues. Spirit was having issues all week. So I'm praying like they don't cancel my flight because that has happened to people. They had their flights canceled 2 hours before takeoff. And I'm praying to God like, please don't cancel this trip. I need this trip, Lord. Please don't cancel this. Don't do it. So then I get to my seat and the flight was originally supposed to take off at like 8:52. Then I get this text saying that it's going to take off at like 9:26. So I'm like, oh, here we go. We're about to start. We're about to start the delays. I'm scared. Please don't cancel me, please. So after that, I was like, okay. I get up to so they started counting. So we were supposed to go up to the checkpoint where you can go into the plane. And we get in line, and it says to get in line by a certain time. We all get in line. And the lady goes and says, no, it was a guy. He goes and says, oh, y'all don't need to be doing that. Y'all go back and sit down. Go back and sit down. I'm like, well, first of all, on my app, it says at 8:52, we're going to start boarding. So why do I got to go sit back down? What do I need to sit down for? Y'all not about to sit there, and I had first priority, so I can go up there, you know, not besides the handicapped people and the disabled, they go first. But the people who have like the zone 1 passes or something like that, we get to go first. So I'm like, no, I have a zone 1 pass. I'm gonna stay right in this line. Like, I don't understand why at the Philadelphia International Airport they gotta be so ratchet. Like, you're old. Stop acting like that. Act your age. Like, be more proper. Like, that's why you got hired. Act how you got hired. Don't act like you in the street or something. Like, you're talking to grown people who paid thousands of dollars to go on these trips, and you're sitting here talking to people like they're 5. Like, I don't think so. So, anyway, so I get on the flight. Mind you, my flight... If you guys have been following me on Instagram and Facebook, my flight, there was a whole big layover. So I had a layover of 9 hours. Can you guys imagine that? A 9-hour layover. So we finally land in Orlando. We land in Orlando because that's where the first stop was. So Orlando International Airport, MCO, the worst airport ever. I will never fly back there ever again. I get there. We get there around 12:40, right? It was like 12:40, maybe like a little after 12:30. And we all go to the baggage claim because, first of all, they took forever to let us off the plane. Then when we finally get to the baggage claim, we are literally sitting there until almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Remember what I just said, 12:40, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a hot mess. My phone was dying. My phone was dying at this point. I had like maybe 9% left. And I'm like, the baggage didn't even come out of the belt. Nothing came out of the belt. Like, it wasn't even, it was to the point where we were all sitting on the belt where it wasn't moving. Like, nothing was happening. So I'm over here thinking my bag got lost or something because I still had another flight to get onto to get to Punta Cana. And I'm like, where is my stuff? So the lady goes and checks it out, and she's like, well, I don't have a bag. If anything, if it was, a straight transfer, then it'll be here. And I didn't see my bag there. So finally, after 2 hours, the belt finally moved, and I saw my 3-legged suitcase come out of the belt. So I was just like, I was so tired. I had to use the bathroom. I'm like, this is just ridiculous. I was starving at this point because I didn't even eat anything when I left Philly. I actually had just water, and that was it. So I'm like all messed up. So at this point, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be a doozy trip for me. So then after I finally get my luggage, I get up to the point where I'm supposed to go. And of course, like the lanes and stuff are closed because, I don't know, I think they're doing something because of COVID, but the lanes and stuff are closed. So I finally get up to where I need to go. I find this nice little area. So I will say, this area that I sat in for like 7.5 hours, it was a nice little area. So they had the chairs and the chargers next to the chairs. So I had my phone nice and charged for the trip, and it was real nice. So I laid down my big suitcase. I cocked up my legs. I had my blanket in the big suitcase. So I took out my king size blanket. I got all snuggly and cozy into this little chair, and I slept there for like maybe 4 hours. There was a lot of other people who were around me that were also doing the same thing. They were like on the these are people that actually had delayed flights or canceled flights. I didn't even know until I woke up and heard them. But They were all sleeping on the benches. They had their blankets and their pillows. We were all like, it was like a little camp out right there because they had the chargers and everything was there and it was available. So, it was a nice little couple hours of sleep. I was watching some shows on my phone. So then when it's finally time to get up, I got up around 7 o'clock because my flight left at like 9 something in the morning. So I finally get up. I get myself together, get everything together, make sure I smell good, because I just was sitting here for 7 hours, just came off this flight from Philly, and I get to the point where I'm supposed to check in again with Spirit. This is like this. I took Spirit the whole way there, and then I took Frontier back. So when I get to the counter, so mind you, I'm thinking this is going to be a quick check-in. And I get to the counter. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go get me some breakfast. And I'm going to, I'm going to relax before the flight. Absolutely not. Did not happen. Did not happen. So when I got to the lane where I was supposed to go for international flights, they had like 3 different, I don't know what was happening up in that airport, but they need some help. They had like 3 different lanes going on. There was one domestic one way, another domestic going where my international was, and there was another international going the other way, like they were going to like Colombia, the Honduras, and the Dominican Republic. And then the other one was going to like España and somewhere, I don't know, somewhere else. And then they were like, oh, well, if you're going domestic, you got to go that way. So all the domestic people had to get out the lines and go all the way to the end. Oh, it was a hot mess. And when they finally got us in the right line, so I'm in the right line to go to Punta Cana. I'm in the line. I'm behind this husband and his wife. And they spoke Spanish and English. So, we're talking or whatever. And the line does not move. Our flight was at like 9:50. The line started really moving at like 9 o'clock. It was bad. Like, it was so bad. And I'm going to talk more about that on my comparison for Spirit and Frontier, because this was bananas. Like, these flights was crazy. But when we finally got to almost midway in the middle, they started looking for Dominican Republic people. So I'm going to skip ahead because I'm going to say the other stuff for the other video. They started calling for the Dominican Republic people. So, I jumped out the line. The husband and the wife jumped out the line. And, we were able to check in. So now they was going quick. They was going quick. So by the time we got there, we were kind of like racing to get to the to the plane. Went through TSA, threw everything in the bucket. Went do. They did a little machine. Go through there, and I got on the plane. It was so exciting because it's like I'm going back to this beautiful country, and I cannot wait to, I was seeing my boyfriend again. So I was like, I cannot wait to see him. I cannot wait to just be there, to get away, because I'm dealing with so much stress here. So I just could not wait to be there. And I get there, and it felt good. I was actually by myself because of how I came off the last time. Everything was familiar, so I kind of already knew the area. So when I got off the plane to get my luggage, of course, the first thing I was looking for was the bathroom, because I was in that line to check in for like ever. So I'm like, where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? So I finally found the bathroom, went to the bathroom, and I came out, and I saw where my luggage was, my 3-legged warrior coming through. So I saw that. And this time I had a taxi driver. The last time I had a car. So this was kind of different. So I go through the security. They got like 2 checkpoints you got to go through. And, the people are just so friendly. They just so, I think the guy that was checking my bag when I had my wine in there, he was kind of like flirting with me a little bit. He was flirting with me a little bit. I could tell. And he asked me, he was like, is this your first time coming to the Dominican Republic? I was like, no, it's my second time. He was like, oh, so basically you're like Dominican now. I was like, yes, I am. once I got through there, I headed over to find where my boyfriend was. Now, he told me to meet him in a certain area, and I go to that area and I don't see him anywhere. So I'm like, OMG. Mind you, the taxi driver is like blowing up my phone. So I'm like, I'm so sorry. I have to meet up with my boyfriend. He's here, but he's coming in the taxi with us. So, we have to kind of wait for him. So it was like so bad. Like everything was getting lost in translation when we were trying to find where we were in the airport, because it was just like, where are you? Like where are you? I'm here, and where are you? And he's like, he's talking in Spanish, and I'm like, well, I'm over here. Can you come over here? And I did not know what he was wearing, so I couldn't even I couldn't even tell where he was. So then he finally texted me on WhatsApp and was like, I got a black shirt on, look for a black shirt. So of course he's the only one with a long sleeve black shirt. Oh my God. Mind you, it is hot as hell out there. I'm like, why does he even have a long sleeve shirt on? It's just so hot out there. So finally, the taxi driver's like, look, we got to get ready to go, because they were like on a timer, all this other stuff. So of course I felt rushed as hell. I was like, oh my God, this trip is going to be something else. And it really was the whole way through. So I finally find my boyfriend. We get together. And it was just so awkward. I think it was because it was just like real hot. I don't know what it was, but I felt like he was like nervous or something because we haven't seen each other in 4 months. So it's like, hi. Hi. I don't know. It was just weird. So it was just weird at that point. And then finally the taxi driver pulls around. So we get into the taxi. Now here is where it started getting interesting. So before my trip, I had everything planned out. So that's another tip that I do want to give you guys. Please plan your steps out before your trip, which I definitely did. So when I went to go pay for the place we were staying at, right? I had the DOP that they essentially said on booking.com, and it specifically said we only accept DOP. So I had made a payment arrangement with my bank, and I had them take out what I needed in DOP. So mind you, I got all of this. I got the whole total plus some to stay at this place, right? So I go into the office. Like, mind you, it's a real nice hotel. If you guys go on my Instagram, I'm gonna add a highlight so you can kind of like see where I was staying at and stuff. Like, it was real nice. The little apartment we had was really cute and small. But my goodness, I get there and, they don't speak a lot of English, and, I speak un poco. So, we was just trying to translate. But they understood though, and I understood what they were saying and stuff. So basically the girl took my card and I asked her like, what's she doing with the card? And mind you, my card is already on booking.com. So they already have all that information. So I'm like confused. So then she goes and says, oh, we only accept card. So on the door, it also said that, but on booking.com with the same place, it did not say that in the email. It said only DOP. So mind you, I'm hot, I'm tired. I just flew in. I had a 9-hour layover from before. I was still pissed about the TSA agent being rude at the counter from before. And I get to the hotel and they're telling me that I cannot pay in DOP. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So you mean you guys can't take my money? And she was like, no. we can try like a different way. So they did try their best in a different way, but what they had to do was call their big boss. So the big boss I had to speak to on the phone, and he basically told me this, which I still don't understand why they could not take it themselves and go do this, because this cost me an extra $30. So I go talk to the big boss, and he goes and tells them and me to take the DOP and deposit it into the actual business account there and bring back the receipt. So I'm like, well, first of all, I'm the person that's on vacation. Why am I having to go out on a mission to go and pay for my place? Like, that is crazy. This is like the craziest thing ever. Like, why am I paying for a place that I'm staying at? You guys are supposed to take that money and deposit it in your account, not me. So I don't know what's up with that. But I will make a complaint about that, because I had to take out an extra $30 to pay a taxi to take me to the location of where the bank was, and I had to go and do that. It was just like unnecessary. They could have just had their staff or somebody take the DOP, put it in a bag, and take it over to where it needs to go. It literally was 15 minutes from where I was staying at. So anyway, that ends up being what happened. So then they finally gave us the key to the apartment. The apartment was great. I want to say they do use like gas stoves, so it was kind of like scary when I first turned on the stove. Like the whole like flames are in my face, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like, I'm not used to this because I have an electric stove. I mean, I know how to use a gas stove. I mean, it's easy, but I didn't expect that. It was like in my face. So it was a cute little place. I thought it was gonna be a little bigger. But yeah. And then when we got to the bathroom, it was like mad scary. Like the ceiling had like a little like, you know, like a peekaboo corner like happening in the peekaboo. I don't know what it was, but it was I kept staring at it every time I was showering. So I was just like, dog, I hope nothing come out of there. But what can you say? You in a DR, so you know anything can happen. So I'm just like staring up while I'm watching them. Like, please don't come out of there. But it was a cool little spot. I would say too, the shower had like a little shower head. The little shower head thing, when I turned it on, I didn't even realize that thing was gonna flip over. I sprayed the whole bathroom with water the first day. I'm like, oh my god. So the DOP messed up. The plane ride was horrible. And now I have a wet bathroom. So me and my boyfriend had to use like towels that they had there. I mean, we had our own towels that we brought, but we had to use the towels and we had to put them all over the floor. And it was just a hot mess. It was just a hot mess. So I'm like, okay, I really hope this is not how this trip is going to go. And it was. So Monday, when I finally got to the bank at the Blue Moon or whatever it was called, I had to pull out the money, and that was just a hassle in itself. That transaction literally took like almost an hour for me because my cards were not working for some reason in their stupid ATMs, when I had to pull out even more money because I had to pay the taxi more money. So I was just like, it was just a hot ass mess. So that was something I'm definitely going to complain about on their website. I'm not going to say their name on here, but I will complain about that because I thought that was very unprofessional. Like, how can you not take my money? I'm the person coming on vacation, and on the website it said to bring the DOP. It's not like I made this up and I sat here and showed the girl. She's like, oh yeah, I see it right here. You should take the money and you should deposit it into the account, not me. So it was just a hot mess. So Monday I spent my first day making a deposit when I should have been relaxing. I was making a deposit. So that was the first thing. The second thing, so we go to the convenience store, and OMG, like, this is why I would rather rent a car than just take a taxi, because I would rather go to a regular grocery store. Like, they have like a grocery store called the La Suprema, and that was like maybe 15-20 minutes from where we were staying at. But I didn't want to keep you know, going back and forth with a taxi because it would have cost money and money and money and money. So they had this convenience store around the corner. Like it took like maybe 5 or 10 minutes to walk there. Beautiful scenery. If you guys watch my Instagram, you guys saw me going to the store. And the way that I was taken. So all these beautiful trees, the weather was popping. But when you go in there, it was just like, it's like a regular little grocery store. It was real cute or whatever. And pretty much like it was like a regular grocery store, but of course, they had like school supplies, vacation things like spray lotions and things like that. Um but the prices were kind of like it was like certain things cost a lot of pesos versus other things. Like for instance, like we got like liquor, and the liquor there wasn't that many pesos. Like for like a bottle of like I think it was a bottle of Brugal. I think that was like maybe like $8, $9. I don't know. I forgot, but it was a good price. So that's why I was just like, all right, we'll just get that. But there were certain things they were missing. That I saw in there. Like for one, like I needed a razor like really bad, and I was just like, they have no razors. Like I was so upset, and I couldn't go to the La Suprema because I did not want to pay no extra money for no taxis. So I was like butt out of a razor for like a few days. So that's why I was so happy to come home yesterday so I could, like relieve myself. So they didn't have a razor. There were certain things there they didn't have that, sometimes like stores like that normally have. And then I would say my favorite part of the store had to be they're called Rika. Rika? I don't know. But my goodness, they're like milk in a box, juice in a box. Like I'm going to make sure I can find it out here because, oh my goodness, I'm in love with those things. The apple juice flavor was like the bomb. The mango flavor was the bomb. I had the chocolate milk was so banging. Oh, it was so good. I was like, I gotta buy another one. They were only like 100 and something pesos, which wasn't really much at all. It's like a few cents. So I bought those, and then they had like your regular essentials, bread, butter, all that other stuff. So it was like the one thing they didn't have though was lettuce. They had cabbage, but no lettuce. I don't know about that, but um it was a cute little convenience store. So we went there about a couple of times, because unfortunately my man eats like an animal. So he was at the store like a couple times, but I would say that was pretty decent. So when I finally made the deposit, I got a text message later that night from booking.com, and they basically was like, oh, well, thank you for your honesty or something like that. You could have free access to the sports something. And I'm like, okay, that still doesn't make up for what just happened, but okay. Then Tuesday was supposed to be me and Boo's anniversary, and it was just like I ain't even gonna get into what happened that day, but just know that it just wasn't a good day, and it just didn't end in a good way. So it's just like this vacation was supposed to be like stress free. So mind you, when I called back into the States, my mom, she was watching the girls for me so I can, have this vacation. And just talking to my mom sometimes, I was just like, I don't even think I wanted to call, but I wanted to call and speak to my girls because I know they was missing me. But it was just like just calling over here just was full of stress. Like everything with COVID over here, child tax credit payments, terrible. Everything here, just me calling into the States just made me feel like cringy. Like it was just bad. So, I had that happening all week. And then what did we do on Wednesday? I think Wednesday we went swimming. Like I think that was pretty decent. Like we went swimming. Um and I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah, we went swimming that day, and the pool was beautiful, guys. It was like an infinity pool. Like that pool was so popping. I was like, oh yes, I'm definitely getting in this thing. It was real nice. I don't think anything happened on Wednesday. Thursday, What was happening Thursday? I think Thursday. Oh, I forgot. See, I'm so tired. I did get a lot of sleep though. I just didn't get any sleep when I came home last night, so that's why I'm just like I don't even know right now because my head hurts. Um, but I think Thursday was a good day too. I think I went back to the store and I went swimming again. Um, That's pretty much what I did, y'all. I just went there and I got sleep, lots of sleep. I got to wake up late, and just enjoy the weather, going to the beach, taking walks, like I got a lot of exercise in taking those walks though. So I think Thursday was cool. Now Friday was that day that I got real mad. Because I'm one of those unlucky Americans that did not receive their child tax credit. I still haven't received the first one either. So I'm trying to hang in there, y'all. I was actually supposed to go out to dinner, but that didn't even happen. It was just a long day doing nothing that day. So I just felt like I didn't want to feel like it was like time was being wasted, but at the same time it was just like, I came out here. This is my last vacation until I come back in 2022 sometime. I don't know when, but somewhere in 2022. And this time I'm taking the girls cuz they got like a resort for kids. So I want to take them there. Um but it was like my last vacation, so it was like I kind of wanted to like enjoy it the best way that I could, but it was just like everything was just so messed up during the week. Everything just got messed up. So it was just, it was bad. Saturday we went to the beach. I did squeeze that out. I really wanted to go to the beach so bad. I was like, I at least have to go there at least for an hour. So, I squeezed out the taxi money so that way I could enjoy myself there because I feel like the beach is like home, and it felt great being there, even though the water was kind of scary. But I was like, let me just go in here. And for the longest time, my boyfriend was like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if he was like looking out in the Amazon or the Beyond, but it took him a minute to get in the water. And I'm just like, you just gotta kind of loosen up, get in the water, go have fun. So finally, when he finally went in there, he was, swimming like a little swimmer. He was in there, and we had a good time. We didn't want to leave, but we did tell the taxi cab driver, a certain time. So we left, and then after that, I was just packing my stuff, and then Sunday, oh, yesterday, oh my goodness, Sunday, wow, that was something else yesterday. So, um, we pack up our stuff, we check out or whatever on time. So I booked another taxi for us to go back to the airport to say goodbye. And it sounds so sad when you say it. To say goodbye. And the taxi driver never showed up until like almost an hour later. Like almost an hour later. Mind you, we're basking outside. Like it's super hot. Like it's super hot. Like I'm wearing black, I think he was wearing black. I don't remember what color shirt he had. But it was so bad. Like when you sitting next to somebody and you getting annoyed with them and you just start just because it's hot. That's what was happening to me and my boyfriend. We were like getting annoyed in the heat. And then it started raining, y'all. Oh my God. It started raining. So we took cover and we left our suitcases right out right out in the Amazon over there, getting rained on. And all the zippers were shut and everything. There was no holes or anything. I know I had a 3-legged luggage, but the 3-legged part was down, so there wasn't nothing going up there. So we ran into the thing, and finally, after like almost an hour, the taxi cab driver showed up. I was like, oh my God. And mind you, we had called the same taxi cab driver that took us to the beach. He took us to the mall that Monday. We called him and was like, can you please come and get us because the other guy is not showing up. So he finally shows up. The one that I booked, he shows up. So we tell the other taxi cab driver just to meet us over at the airport because he was going to take Jose home. So um when we finally get in the taxi, the guy, he spoke good English, and he was like, "I'm sorry," blah, blah. But I would say, to make up for his part, he did have some banging air conditioning happening in that van, so I was cool. I was just kind of close by, like, oh, I just feel this air. It's hot outside. Just feel this air. So we finally get to the airport to say our goodbyes. So of course, I didn't take a COVID test. I waited until I got to the airport because I just didn't feel like calling another taxi. It's been too much money. So I'm just like, I'm just going to wait till I go to the airport. I'm going to wing it. Go to the airport. So I finally said goodbye to my boyfriend. He left. So I went up to the elevator, and I wasn't sure if I should go up there. And I went and I asked this guy. He was like standing in the front. And I was like, "Hi, ¿tú habla inglés?" He was like, "Yes, how can I help you?" And I was like, "Okay. Can you help me find a COVID test? Because I gotta take a COVID test in order to get back into the States." So he was like, yeah. So he was showing me the direction on how to get up there. Finally get up there. The quickest 5 minutes of my life was like $45. So I was like, oh my God. So I take this test. And it came out negative, of course. So I'm like flying down the elevator again. I'm like, yay, I got my paper. I fly back down the elevator, and they check me in. Check-in was smooth, so this check-in wasn't as bad as Spirit. I'll tell you, and this is when I'm taking Frontier back. Spirit was ghetto, and I'm gonna get into that when I make that video. But this particular airline was very professional. When they did check in, they had the boarding pass and everything on the computer. Everything was good. So that was a smooth check-in. Then going to put my my passport down and my boarding pass down, that was real smooth. Everything was pretty much like a smooth process all the way until we get to the flight. Oh my God. Mind you, this day is already long. I had woke up yesterday at like 7 in the morning because we had like laundry being done. So, we woke up early. So I'm like already tired. So we get to the flight. I'm starving at this point. I stop at Wendy's. I go and eat real quick, and then I go over to where my gate is. So I'm standing at the gate, got my phone in my hand, chilling, waiting for them to say that they're going to start boarding. And all of a sudden, I get this text message, and it said that our gate has moved. So I'm like, please don't be like Spirit. Please don't be like Spirit, Lord. Please don't be like Spirit. So we get down. So we actually, all of the passengers, and that's how we all stuck together like a unit. We all stuck together like a unit. That was cute. So we went down to where we supposed to, because this plane was going to take us to San Juan, and from San Juan it takes us to Philly. So we get down to the gate, and we all sitting there, right? So we thinking that the plane is going to pull up any second or whatever, because it was getting close to boarding time. And here comes the second text message. It says, your flight has been delayed to 4:03. We supposed to leave at like 3:40 something. So I'm looking at this one passenger, and I'm like, did you just get this text message? And she was like, yeah, I just got the text message. I'm like, did y'all take Spirit coming in? And she's like, yeah, we took Spirit coming in. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I hope they don't sit there and cancel our flight like how they was doing with the Spirit customers. And she was saying the same thing. So we were literally sitting there. So mind you, we were supposed to leave by like 4:08 to go to San Juan. Guess what time we ended up leaving? We left almost 5:30. Yeah, like 5:30. So it was delayed. Like that thing was delayed. And mind you, it's raining outside. So I'm just like, this is just crazy. And once we get to the line, when they finally announced that we had like the little buses to take us over to the plane, after waiting so long. It was a big commotion. I'm going to talk about that in the other video, but it was a big commotion that happened. And again, I was about to slap somebody because the dude was in my face. Oh my goodness, he was in my face. And he was saying there has to be one line. And I'm like, sir, like, how can it be like one line if you guys got people coming on this side and people coming on this side? Like, how can it be one line? So it was just a hot mess yesterday. So we finally get into the plane. Now, the San Juan plane was supposed to leave at like 6 something. So we are like, I don't know what kind of hyperspeed this pilot did, but he did a fantastic job getting us there by like 6 something. And he did real good. So we get there. Here's the second thing that pissed me off. So they told us that we would have to get our luggage from the bag claim again. And once we get to the bag claim, they said we would have to recheck it back in and get back on the plane. So I'm just like this is just so complicated for no reason. This whole week was just a big headache. Like, it's just terrible. So we get to the baggage claim and the same thing happened here. The thing did not spin at all. It did not spin. It took another like 30 minutes to 40 minutes for it to start spinning with everybody's stuff. And then it got stuck. I'm like, yo, I cannot anymore. I can't do this no more. I'm not traveling for a long time after this trip was a hot mess. So finally, when it finally started spinning, here I am rolling with my carry-on this side and my three-legged warrior on this side. And I got my book in my hand and my backpack on my back. And I'm just like trying to hurry up. So we finally all get to the same elevator. We get up to the top. We have to go through another checkpoint and put our luggage on this belt. Luggage on this belt for them to check it. And they finally check it, give us a green sticker. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this is like so much. So then we had to go all the way back to the frontier counter at the end, go give them our bags with our green sticker on there, telling them we're going to Philly. Jump in the TSA line. Hurry up and go through TSA. They were pretty smooth. Now, the guy that I had for the TSA agent, he was real cool. He was cool. So, I had a good experience with him. But we go through there, and then they're being super slow when they're checking the stuff. They're being super slow as molasses. I'm like, oh my God, we're never going to get home. Like, I'm trying to get home before 1 o'clock in the morning when I was supposed to be there at 10. We were supposed to land at 10:05. We got to Philly at like after 12. I just don't understand. It was just bad. So when I finally got to get on the plane, everything was cool. I had cool people sit next to me. Like it was a good flight. I got to sleep for a couple hours. They did the little snacks or whatever. So it wasn't so bad, but it was just the fact the process was just so ridiculous. So when I finally made it back to Philly, I was a little nervous. My phone was dead at this point. I had no phone battery. My phone was dead. And I was just ready to go home at this point. So the baggage claim was not that bad. It took maybe like 10 or 15 minutes for them to kind of like start the process. And then the belt came. And then here comes the one bag that gets stuck. Then somebody's cheetah bag got stuck. And I'm just like, I just want to go home. I don't just want to go home at this point. So by the time I reached my destination to my car in the parking garage, it was like a little after 1 o'clock, and I live like an hour away. So it took me until almost 2 o'clock to get home. So I got home at 2 o'clock this morning. And I'm here. It was just so long. I feel like that was like the longest trip of my life. That was my first solo trip. And it was like the longest trip of my life. I'm like, what is going on? Like, wow. I'm not even, after that, I'm not even taking a trip for a while. So I'm kind of happy I'm not taking a trip until 2022. And hopefully they get their stuff together in them airports and put the correct people in the right positions with the right attitudes. Hopefully these hotels get right with booking.com. I'm going to make my complaints later tonight because I thought that was just ridiculous. And, you know, it was just a crazy week. It was just a crazy week. I feel like I spent my whole week like doing things instead of relaxing, and it was just ridiculous. So I do advise that you guys definitely still go. Don't be discouraged on not going out and enjoying yourself for solo trips because of my experience. But I would encourage you guys definitely to still go check out the Dominican Republic. The people are awesome there. They're so sweet, so sweet. They're always there to help you. Um, Again, the culture is beautiful. The food is magnificent. Smelling like some good food. When I was walking by, where was we at? Oh, the beach. We was on the beach, and they was like cooking the stuff on the restaurant. Like, it was real cool. It was real cool and laid back. Everybody was just chilling, you know, like it's just chilling on the island. So I really want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for almost an hour. But I had to tell my experience was a lot different than my first one. My first experience was a lot different. It was very fun. You know, we didn't miss a beat. You know, it was really no stress on that trip, and we were celebrating my birthday, so it was just like it was a good trip. This trip was like very stressful, and it shouldn't have been like that. And it was just god awful. It was awful. I'm just gonna say it was awful. I got a lot of sleep, but it was just absolutely awful. So I don't discourage you guys. You guys will have different experiences than I. I pray that you do. Um, but I definitely do recommend go visit the Dominican Republic. When I go back, I plan to go visit the Santo Domingo. I want to see the city. The city is what I want to see next because I keep seeing this beautiful resorts and things like that. But I'm ready to see the city because I'm a city chick. So I love to see the city. So when I go back, I'm definitely gonna see if I can take like a tour or something to Santo Domingo. So I can venture out to see the city and the museums and stuff they got out there. But again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. What are your thoughts on my crazy trip? I know I was kind of like skipping over parts. But that's because those parts I'm trying to save for the other video because they are related to the airline services. So I was skipping over some things. But I hope you guys enjoyed my crazy story. I hope you guys have a blessed week, and check out my second video. I'm about to drop that as well. Take care.